Passo di nuovo la parola ad Alessia De Luca per moderare i nostri prossimi speaker.
Eccoci, allora ci addentriamo nel tema Cybersecurity in the Quantum Era. Per farlo invito Tima Soni, welcome. Tima Soni is the Chief Information Security Officer for Cybersecurity Division of the United Nations International Computing Center. She oversees UNSCC cybersecurity teams of experts in New York, Valencia, Rome, and Geneva. Mrs. Soni, would you like to share with us some thoughts on risks and strategies that organizations can adopt to be better prepared for the cyber threats that may arise because of the quantum computing? And also tell us, do you have a date for the Q Day? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the kind introduction and also for the questions. I'll be covering them in my speech today. I was not able to learn a little bit of Italian to do my introduction. Apologies for that. My name is Tima, and I would like to thank everyone to organize this conference and also for inviting me and giving me a spot to speak here. It is an extreme honor for me and my organization to be here and share our thoughts and the work that we do as a technology organization of the UN. While these technologies are posing risks, they are also bringing immense opportunities. And opportunities are only available to prepared minds. So we, as the cybersecurity community, need to be prepared to embrace all these technologies, these new emerging technologies that are coming our way. As the chief of the United Nations International Computing Center, I am leading the team of cybersecurity professionals who are supporting the entire UN system in building a resilient cybersecurity environment. UNICC was formed in 1971 by a General Assembly resolution to provide shared digital and cybersecurity solutions to the UN family. Since then, we have existed. Today, we are supporting more than 100 UN organizations globally, and we have our headquarters in Geneva. We have a big office in Valencia. I'm based out of New York, and we have, and Italy is a special country because we have two offices in Italy, one in Rome and one in Brindisi. My organization, my team, is providing threat intelligence to the UN family. So we are the threat intelligence network of the UN. We run a 24/7 security operations center that is monitoring cyber threats globally. Last year alone, we monitored more than 100,000 endpoints. We raised awareness in 117,000 users by running phishing campaigns against them and seeing if they would fall for it. We also run the public key infrastructure of the UN, and that's very central to today's discussion because it will be heavily impacted by quantum computing when it becomes a reality. And through our threat intelligence team, we are tracking more than 200 adversaries who are targeting the UN system in different ways. Last year, we have also launched our private cloud. We are working on open source tech so that we are building a resilient technology stack for the UN system. And lastly, we are also launching our AI hub, which will also provide central AI support to the UN system. So going back to the question that the colleague asked, when will be the Q day? I don't know. There's a lot of research happening. The timeline varies depending on institutions making those predictions based on the data that's available to them. While it might be easier for big tech firms who have access to quantum computers, general populations and mid-sized organizations might still struggle to get access to quantum computing. What about consumers? Will we have mobile phones with quantum computing enabled? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that quick. I envision at least 20 years from now that might be a reality, but it requires heavy investments globally. The question is very interesting, and the bottom line is that quantum computing is still in a very nascent stage, and the hardware challenges that are the biggest impediment of global ubiquity of quantum computing. Many researchers are trying to resolve the hardware problems, but that is the fundamental problem that is bringing a barrier between the adoption of quantum computing globally within our environment. Big economies are investing a lot on quantum computing. We had speakers today who shared how much European Union is investing in quantum computing. There were some research articles that Americas alone is putting around 8 to 9 billion worth of investment in quantum computing in the coming 5 to 10 years. EU collectively, I think, is around 19 to 20 billion. Asia is also at the same level. They are also investing heavily on quantum computing. But still, the timeline for widespread adoption through wide-scale manufacturing remains difficult to forecast, because manufacturing quantum computers at scale will be a difficult and daunting task. I think in the mid and long term, quantum computing will exist next to classical computing, and I think this was reflected yesterday's speech as well. And will be primarily made available by cloud service providers, because they do have the research, they do have the resources to make breakthroughs in quantum computing. This is an important aspect because this can have a huge implication on cyber threats and how they evolve, and how entities with access to resources and research use or misuse quantum computing to aid cyber attacks. Those organizations who are well-funded and resourced will plan ahead of time, and there will be the rest of us who will have very little resources, the general populations who will be struggling to remediate the vulnerabilities of the future. Even today, we are not really good at remediating vulnerabilities. I don't know of any organization who can raise their hand and say that we have an environment with zero vulnerabilities. It's not possible. Now imagine a time in future where quantum computers are real and they've broken the asymmetric encryption, and we have all those vulnerable systems to be remediated. That's going to be a stressful environment for all us cybersecurity people, because we'll have to upgrade all our applications, all our defenses to a new, relatively new, unknown environment. Why is this a problem for cybersecurity? Asymmetric encryption is the backbone of many cybersecurity controls. This ranges from protocols like SSL, TLS, where it's actually running the internet. Public key infrastructure will have a deep hit by quantum computers because they issue certificates and there'll be issues there. Multi-factor authentication, which we are advocating and rolling out globally, that'll have impact on, that'll be impacted by quantum computing. Code signing, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, identity verifications, VPNs, they work on asymmetric encryption. And most importantly, sensitive information is being encrypted with a lot of asymmetric encryption protocols. So imagine the amount of work we'll have in our hands as cybersecurity professionals when the Q day comes. So the question is, are we ready to handle this? I don't think so. 5 years is not enough, I think. If you look at our own experience of handling vulnerabilities, we are not really good in handling vulnerabilities even in today's day and age. The zero trust architecture pillars of securing identity, data, workloads, devices, networks all advocate many controls that are actually hinged on asymmetric encryption. And the problem is that quantum computing will weaken this backbone of cybersecurity. So we need to start acting now as cybersecurity professionals. I've tried to summarize 4 or 5 different areas that we can start working on as an industry. The first one is governance. We need to make sure that we have a good inventory of where all are we using asymmetric encryption. This is really important, and it's not groundbreaking. We can use our existing tools to find out or make an inventory. I've heard of a lot of companies who are doing a lot of, so to say, innovative work in quantum computing, but at the heart of it, from a cybersecurity perspective, to find out what are the weak algorithms, you can use your normal vulnerability scanners and you'll get a good understanding of your environment. Building plans to mitigate what you find will be the most daunting task, like any vulnerability management program. This will be complex, and it will entail complex migrations of applications that were never built with cryptographic agility. Campaigning for us at this point now so that all applications that we develop in the future are resilient and are cryptographically agile is one thing that we should also start doing right now. So that's from the governance perspective. Then focusing on detection, response, and recovery. In terms of detection, response, and recovery, we will need to plug ourselves with threat intelligence sources that are focusing on quantum threats. This is important because it's new territory, and threat intelligence will be more important than ever when quantum computing becomes a reality. So as one of the previous speakers were saying, we need to do better in collaborating. We need to do better in sharing threat intelligence when quantum computing is a reality. With the developing, I would say developing, some of the colleagues said deteriorating, but I'll say the developing geopolitical environment, the likelihood of few well-resourced entities to weaponize quantum computing against not so resourced will be higher, and therefore collaborating and working as a team, as it was also mentioned yesterday, will be crucial to collectively deal with quantum-related cyber threats. Again, focusing on the detection and response and recovery, and also being prepared for cyber incidents, performing tabletop exercises with the understanding of what if your public key infrastructure is compromised? How will we react to it? So we can start thinking of these interesting areas and start preparing our incident response teams with such incidents when they happen. Continuous monitoring to detect, respond, and recover from quantum-driven cyber attacks using AI-powered solutions will be an interesting area for all of us to look into. The last area which I'm looking into is protection. So protect now so that decrypt later does not work. That's where I would like to focus on. There's transition to quantum-resistant cryptographic controls for encryption of data, code signing, etc., so that harvest now, decrypt later is ineffective. And that's really important for now because that's a preventive control that we need to start thinking of now. Lastly, training is important. I do believe the quantum divide will be even wider than the digital divide. And this is because there is a huge barrier of hardware and costs for the adoption of quantum technology. Therefore, building capacity and training both on the hardware and the application layer will be crucial to deal with quantum-related cyber threats. And we also need to bring the global south with us because cybersecurity, the cyberspace has no boundaries, and we need to make sure that the world is evolving and adopting new secure technologies as and when the quantum computing becomes a reality. As a closing remark, I want to share that like any emerging technology that is AI or quantum, there are risks and opportunities, but we need to plan now. We need to start ahead of time, and if we plan for the mitigation of these risks effectively, we can collectively benefit from the opportunities. Quantum and AI together have great potential to transform all aspects of our lives and advance our future generations. Lastly, my Italian colleagues who are sitting right there across the table forced me and actually encouraged me to say a few words in Italian. So I've made only 3 words, which is grazie a tutti. Thanks a lot for having me here. It is a pleasure to speak with all of you and know you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tima Soni, for sharing with us your expertise on quantum computing.